your shit in order.
They tell me life's a bitch,
I know, but she's so fucking gorgeous.
and I'm with my A1 since day one, niggas. Bandanas and play guns. Cops and robbers hitting open garages. Old heads running out trying to say something. Shut up. Huffy bikes with them pegs.
My eye on Clinton watching each move he make, cause every slither he takes sort of reminds.
No one can make an intelligent decision without being properly informed. This is why this world wants to control the media. This is why media hype can take you up, take you down. So you don't know anymore who's really good, because the media can make a wicked man look good and make a good man look evil. That is why.
Welcome. You are watching a live edition of the Final Call News Hour. I am your host, Herman Muhammad, and welcome to the show. We missed you. We've got some very pertinent information that we like to get out to you, so we'll get started right away. Today, we're coming out of volume number 33, issue number 5, which reads, Pimped Out. Kidnapped, abused, and beaten, young black girls are being forced into prostitution in cities around the country. What needs to be done to end this shameful and destructive tragedy? Very, very powerful edition of the Final Call News Hour. And let me tell you a little bit about the Final Call News Hour in case you all do not know. The Final Call News Hour is the partner of the Final Call newspaper, which you can visit online at www.finalcall.com. The Final Call newspaper, of course, is the communications organ of the Nation of Islam, and it is the most widely circulated newspaper, black-owned and operated, on the planet. So please, whenever you see the brothers out on the streets, pick up your Final Call newspaper. Now, the first article appears on page 3 of this current edition of the Final Call newspaper. Let me just read a little bit of it for you. And it says, beaten, abused, forced into sex slavery, how and why black girls are increasingly trapped in prostitution. When neighborhoods, and this is written by Sister Charlene Muhammad, our national correspondent who writes from the West Coast, and she can be reached on Twitter at Sister Charlene or at Sis Charlene, SISCHARLENE. When neighborhood, religious, and city leaders hit streets to raise awareness about the need to end increasing sales of black women and girls on Long Beach Boulevard, they found child sex exploitation and human trafficking that reached far beyond their community hub. Basically, while we're calling attention to this, we did get news of an 8-year-old that was arrested, said Paulette Gibson, president of the Compton branch of the NAACP. She's also disheartened seeing young girls walking along the boulevard offering their bodies in exchange for money. And this deals with an issue of pimping our young girls. Specifically, this story deals with in California in the cities of Compton and Long Beach. The article goes on to say, pimping and preying on children. According to Delita Miller, pimps have discovered that unlike lifetime prison sentences for selling crack cocaine, no one cares about the commodification of black women and girls. And so what they're saying is that, 3 strikes. Now, you mess with some crack cocaine, even 5 grams of crack cocaine, you can get 10 years. But in terms of pimping our young women and girls, you don't receive nearly the amount of time. So it's becoming a more attractive way to make money amongst these so-called pimps in California. Brother Minister Robert Muhammad, who's the student minister of Muhammad Mosque number 54 in Compton, said the problem includes a culture of sexism and sexual exploitation of females. And I quote, "You can regularly go on YouTube and watch a young girl twerking, as they would call it. That is a sexual dance. A whole culture is behind this, so you should not be surprised when what you see behind closed doors comes out into the open." According to Mr. Muhammad, and this is important and this is startling in regards to these statistics, one hotel manager admitted receipts from room rentals for prostitution amount to $9,000 to $10,000 a month. Until another product netting that amount can be found, the manager said he would keep renting rooms for sex, said the Nation of Islam student minister. So there's economic benefit for those people who are renting these hotel rooms to these prostitutes and their johns, and so they're going to continue doing it as long as that revenue keeps coming. The story goes on to say, pimps thrive off of situations that already exist. They didn't create the 50% unemployment rate, they just took advantage of it. They didn't create the situation where the youth are sexually abused before they turn 10, 11, or 12. They just take advantage of it. They don't create the situation where youth are pushed out of school. They just take advantage of it, Ms. O'Leary argued. What youth really need and want are 24-hour drop-in centers. Otherwise, the cycle will continue. So, again, this story, and this is a very disheartening story, but there is some light at the end of the tunnel. But these are stories that directly affect what's going on in our communities. And the story goes on. I don't want to hit you with all this negativity. To talk about these groups of men in Los Angeles, in Long Beach, in Compton, who have gotten together to stop this sexual exploitation of our girls, to stop this sex slavery. Here's a story about some of the brothers here. Men Stopping Violence, an Atlanta-based program that works to end male violence toward women, discusses prostitution and sexual abuse in its classes. According to Suleiman Nuruddin, Men's Prevention Program Manager, prostitution is all about control, men being dominant and feeling they have access to and control over women's bodies. Whenever we want to, it should be available to us. However we want to use it, and that's part of the delivery that we get, part of our socialization, part of what male patriarchy teaches us about being in relationships and our expectations of women, Mr. Nuruddin said. Some men, take that expectation and manipulate female vulnerabilities for financial gain, he said. The way to stop the tragedy is to tackle generational problems and sexist beliefs about women that go along with it, Mr. Nuruddin argued. So a part of the solution is really just educating ourselves about why certain men feel that it's okay to use our women in this way. And another part of stopping this problem or coming up with a solution to this problem is educating our women to their worth and to giving them that high self-esteem that our sisters really should have, because you are the women of God. You are the goddesses of the universe and should not be used as sexual toys, so to speak, for these men, or should not be used or exploited by men who are exploiting these women, using them for prostitution and whatnot. Another sister in the story appears. Her name is Sarai Smith Mazarigos. While prevalent child sex trafficking is virtually invisible because sex trafficking and exploitation occurs where poverty is, and that's in the black community, Sarai Smith Mazarigos, co-founder of Oakland-based Missy, which is an acronym which stands for Motivating, Inspiring, Supporting, and Serving Sexually Exploited Youth, and Alameda Family Service Nika's Place program coordinator. We, the community, the public society, don't really look at it until it has to do with a Caucasian child. Then it's on the news. Everyone's talking about it. Then there's a police response. Then it's, oh, she's a victim. But when it comes to a child that is African American, she's not labeled as a victim. She is criminalized, argued Miss Smith Mazarigos. And it goes on to say on and on what's going on and the work that the sister and brothers in the community are doing to alleviate this problem. But again, you need to pick this up. Go to www.finalcall.com. Pick up the latest Final Call newspaper where you can read about these stories and more. Now I want to move on to a more positive story, which deals with the economic blueprint that was launched this past Holy Day of Atonement by our student minister Ishmael Muhammad, who was speaking in the stead of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, who came down with an illness and was unable to deliver that particular address. Now this story appears on page, and it's the editorial part of the Final Call newspaper, written by Brother Richard B. Muhammad, the editor-in-chief of the Final Call newspaper. And it's entitled Muhammad's Economic Blueprint and Our Future. And Brother Richard writes, how much is freedom worth to you? Men and women have offered their lives to be free. Are you willing to give a nickel a day to save yourself and plot a future for yourself and your children? This is the essential question raised with our opportunity to support Muhammad's economic blueprint and program to fight poverty and want. We can agree that the black community is in dire straits and wrecked by joblessness, violence, hopelessness, and despair. We remain a consumer nation, giving away almost $1 trillion a year, and are sometimes angry when those who have exploited us actually don't want to take our money. That's a hell of a mindset right there, where we get upset for people not wanting to take our money. The economic blueprint is very simple, and we're calling on all of our people, at least 16 million of working class black people, to take part in this economic program. And it goes like this. Muhammad's economic blueprint, given to us by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, is profound in its simplicity. It asks if just 16 million wage earners are willing to put away 35 cents a week, less than $20 for the year, in a national treasury as a beginning effort for Black America to go for self. More information and the ability to donate can be found at economicblueprint.org. But by coming together, and this is important, but by coming together with a nickel a day, just a nickel a day, 35 cents a week, we can amass over 291 million in a single year. And we can do it in a way that will never feel any pain, simple and profound. The money, because I know a lot of you are suspicious, the money will be used to purchase farmland as the engine for national development and provide Black America and others with healthy food. Then there will come related investment in agribusiness and other ventures that would allow for funding our colleges and rebuilding the wasted cities. Now, I just got to say, and then I want to give you this website, because here's the answer. Here's the solution to the problems that we face. No one else has a solution to the problems that Black people face economically. And all of our other problems, whether they be social, political, spiritual, all of those can be related to our economic problems. Here's the site. The site is www.economicblueprint.org. And like I said, what we want you to do is donate 5 cents a day. That's not going to hurt anyone. As a matter of fact, you could donate on behalf of your family. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has proven that he is not going to rob us. And we need to take into consideration, that it's a nickel a day. We spend so much more on foolishness, money on cigarettes, on alcohol, on drugs, on partying, on acting a fool, but never can solve the problems that our people face. And here it is, that solution, an economic blueprint. So run to your computer right now. Run to your computer right now and donate to economicblueprint.org, or you can actually send your money to the bank that's been designated. If you want to mail it, you can write a check and you can mail it there, and you can get that information right there on that site, economicblueprint.org, if you want to mail the money, or go to noi.org and find that information as well. But just remember, it's 5 cents a day, 35 cents a week, times 16 million of our working class people. And within a year's time, we'll have nearly $300 million, $291 million to go towards buying farmland. That's the first step to our independence. And the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has proven that he is a man that he has proven that he is a man that we can trust. He has proven with nearly 60 years of service to our people and being consistent that he's going to do what needs to be done with our little nickels to help to make us a free and independent people. Remember, the land is the basis for all freedom. And a people who do not have land do not have anything. I'm going to say that again. A people who do not have land do not have anything. So let's get on this economic program. And I keep showing this because I got to hammer the point home that this is a way that we can improve all of our condition. All right? Praise be to Allah. Now, I got one more thing that I wanted to say, because we've been talking about pimping and pandering and this terrible thing that's going on with our girls. We've been talking about economic development, and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, who is a man that we all can trust. But there's been something on my mind, and it doesn't appear in the Final Call newspaper, but I just wanted to touch on it and give my opinion. And the Final Call News Hour is a show where we give our personal opinion. This is commentary that you wouldn't ordinarily get on any other program, because no other program is going to address the issues that the Final Call and the Final Call newspaper and the Final Call News Hour is going to address. Well, I wanted to talk about this show that's been on, and I just give my opinion about it because it's the talk. I've watched it. Guilty. Can't help but to watch it. It's kind of like seeing a car accident. You got to just stop and see what's going on. But it's this new show that deals with the preachers of L.A. The preachers of L.A. And I gotta say, I don't know. if this is the proper way for the gospel to be spread. Now, I'm a Muslim, but as you all know, or maybe you don't know, all Muslims believe in Jesus. I'm going to say that again. All Muslims believe in Jesus, including myself. But I think the show, like a lot of shows on so-called reality TV, goes a little far in promoting exorbitant wealth and spending and opulence and luxury, and it doesn't go far enough with talking about the pastoral care of the flock. And you know, Christians, you know, a lot of times they ask the question, what would Jesus do? What would Jesus do? And so the preachers of LA and the producers of that particular program, and I'm sure they don't really care what would Jesus do, the producers and whatnot, but if the preachers of LA, who are pastors of congregations in the California, Los Angeles area, or Los Angeles, California area, do care about what would Jesus do, do you think Jesus would want you to be rolling around in Bentleys, Mercedes Benz with floaters on it, Ferraris? One of the preachers is unmarried. He's an older brother and has a woman that he's been dealing with 16 years that he apparently refuses to marry. One of the preachers got divorced and then had a child out of wedlock, and you know, these are the things that they're focusing on. Another preacher carries his he takes his Bible into the hood, but he also carries his Glock. He said if he gonna bring the Lord, but if they don't respect the Lord, he gonna bring the law, which is his Glock. Another preacher refers to his ministry as a booming enterprise and travels with an entourage of no more or no less than 4 people, and you know, he won't go to churches unless they can accommodate him and his entourage. I'm just saying, brothers and sisters, that we gotta wake up and look at what's being presented to us, and look at the minds of the producers of these shows, and while they're producing these shows for us, because there's something behind it. But these preachers really have to be aware that there's a price that has to be paid. All of us have to be aware of that, especially those of us who claim to be shepherds of the flock, who claim to be servants of the one true God. And so that's my commentary. I don't want to go in on the preachers, but I think that a lot of the practices are questionable at best. But the one thing that I want you to take away from this is go to that website, www.economicblueprint.org, and donate so that we can have something that we can call our own. And we'll it's not being, you're not donating to the preachers of LA, you're donating to the Nation of Islam under the leadership of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And we can assure you that your nickels will be spent wisely and on your behalf. So I'm out. I just wanted to stop in and just build with you all on those few little things, and we'll be doing more shows in the future. It's time now to come on out and get back on it. Check me out. I don't have my Twitter information, but you can follow me at Brother Herman. That's BrotherHerman, at Brother Herman. Or on Facebook, I'm Herman Supreme Styles Muhammad. Thank you. It's been beautiful. building with you. Remember, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. Peace until next time. It's going to be same black time, same black station. Oh, and don't forget to watch the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan's series, weekly series, The Time and What Must Be Done. It comes on www.noi.org. Until next time, man, stay black, stay strong. We'll catch ya. Peace.
Every slither he takes sort of reminds.
No one can make an intelligent decision without being properly informed. This is why this world wants to control the media. This is why media hype can take you up, take you down. So you don't know anymore who's really good, because the media can make a wicked man look good and make a good man look evil. That is why.
Until the dawn, I can't quit. I'm like Saddam, keeping my eye on Clinton, watching each move he makes. Cause every slither he takes sort of reminds